I thought I was losing my mind at 71, until I discovered this one missing nutrient. Last month, I met Margaret, a 71-year-old former school principal. She walked into my office looking defeated. "I used to run a school of 800 students," she told. "Me," her voice barely above a whisper. "I organized events, managed budgets, and had energy for my evening walks with my husband. But now, I can barely get through grocery shopping without feeling exhausted." Margaret's daughter, sitting beside her, added, "Mom, you're not the same person anymore. You used to be so sharp, so energetic. Now you struggle to remember our conversations from yesterday." I looked at Margaret and saw something her doctors had missed for over 2 years. Something that affects up to 40% of seniors, yet gets overlooked in 80% of cases. Margaret wasn't just getting old. She was suffering from a condition that's completely reversible. A condition that can be fixed not with expensive medications, but with the right foods. Today, I'm going to share Margaret's incredible transformation story. And more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to protect yourself and your loved ones from this silent health thief. But first, if you're new to Senior Essentials, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is dedicated to giving you the nutritional knowledge that can literally change your life. And if you're already part of our community, thank you for being here. Your support helps me reach more seniors who desperately need this information. So, what was stealing Margaret's energy and mental clarity? Vitamin B12 deficiency. Now, I know what you're thinking. Really? A vitamin deficiency caused all those problems? The answer is absolutely yes. And here's why this matters so much to every senior watching this video. Vitamin B12 deficiency is what I call a stealth condition. It creeps up on you slowly, over months or even years. One day you're fine, the next, you notice you're a little more tired than usual. Maybe you chalk it up to poor sleep. Then you start forgetting small things. Where did I put my keys? What was I supposed to pick up at the store? You might think, well, I'm getting older. This is normal. But it's not normal. And it's definitely not something you have to accept. Let me share some statistics that will probably surprise you. Studies show that between 10% and 40% of seniors have some form of B12 deficiency. That means if you're in a room with 10 seniors, up to 4 of them could be suffering right now. But here's the really heartbreaking part. Most of these cases go undiagnosed for years. Why? Because the symptoms look like normal aging to many healthcare providers. Fatigue? You're getting older. Memory problems? That's just part of aging. Balance issues? Be more careful. This is what I call medical ageism, and it's robbing seniors of their quality of life. But you don't have to be a victim of this system. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to get properly tested, and most importantly, how to fix this problem naturally through nutrition. Let me start by explaining exactly what vitamin B12 is and why your body needs it so desperately. Vitamin B12, also called cobalamin, is like the master key in your body's engine. Without it, several critical systems start to break down. First, B12 is essential for DNA synthesis and cell division. Now, what does that mean in practical terms? It means that anywhere in your body where cells are rapidly dividing and regenerating, B12 is working overtime. Your bone marrow, for example, is constantly producing new red blood cells. Every single day, your body produces about 200 billion new red blood cells. That's billion with a B, without adequate B12. This process starts to fail. That's why one of the first signs of B12 deficiency is often anemia. But B12 doesn't stop there. It's also crucial for your nervous system. Every nerve in your body, from your brain down to your toes, depends on B12 to function properly. B12 helps maintain the protective coating around your nerves, called the myelin sheath. Think of it like the insulation around electrical wires. Without proper insulation, the electrical signals get scrambled or don't reach their destination at all. This is why B12 deficiency can cause tingling, numbness, balance problems, and even cognitive issues. Now, Here's something fascinating about B12. You only need a tiny amount each day. The recommended daily allowance is just 2.4 micrograms. To put that in perspective, that's about 1/1000th of a teaspoon. But here's the catch. Your body can't make B12 on its own. You have to get it from food or supplements. The good news is that your body is smart. It stores B12 primarily in your liver. A healthy person can store enough B12 to last about a year. This is why B12 deficiency develops so slowly. Your body is essentially living off its savings account. But once those savings run out, problems start appearing quickly. Let me tell you about Robert, a 68-year-old retired mechanic. Robert came to me after his wife noticed he was becoming increasingly forgetful and irritable. He used to be the most patient man I knew, she said. But lately, he snaps at me over the smallest things. Robert had been experiencing subtle symptoms for over a year. First, he noticed he got tired more easily when working in his garage. Then, he started having trouble sleeping. His balance became unsteady, and he had a few minor falls. His family attributed all of this to normal aging, but when I tested Robert's B12 levels, they were dangerously low. His body had been running on empty for months. The amazing thing about Robert's story is what happened next. Within just 6 weeks of fixing his B12 deficiency through targeted nutrition, his wife called me in tears. "I have my husband back," she said. "His energy is back, his mood is stable, and yesterday he fixed our neighbor's lawnmower. I thought I was losing him to old age, but he was just missing one crucial nutrient." This is the power of understanding B12 and taking action. Now, let's talk about where to get B12 naturally. This is where the good news really starts. B12 is found abundantly in animal products, and I'm going to give you specific recommendations that can transform your B12 status. Let's start with the absolute champions. Fish and seafood are your B12 superstars. Salmon, for instance, is incredible. Just 3.5 ounces of cooked salmon provides about 4.8 micrograms of B12. That's double your daily needs in one serving. But here's what makes this even better. Salmon is also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which support brain health. So you're getting a double benefit. Sardines are another powerhouse. I know. Many people turn their nose up at sardines. But let me tell you about Eleanor, a 74-year-old grandmother who completely changed her relationship with sardines. Eleanor was struggling with low energy and mild memory issues. I suggested she try sardines 3 times a week. "I can't eat those little fish," she protested. So I taught her my secret sardine recipe. Mix mashed sardines with avocado, a squeeze of lemon, and a pinch of salt. Spread it on whole grain toast. Eleanor tried it and called me the next day. "That was actually delicious," she said. "I never thought I'd say this, but I'm looking forward to sardines again." Within 2 months, Eleanor's energy levels had dramatically improved, and sardines became her go-to lunch twice a week. Now, let's talk about shellfish. Clams are absolutely incredible for B12. Just 3.5 ounces of cooked clams contain up to 84 micrograms of B12. That's enough to meet your needs for over a month in one serving. Mussels and crab are also excellent sources. If you enjoy seafood, you're already ahead of the game. But what if you're not a seafood person? Don't worry, there are plenty of other options. Red meat, particularly organ meats, are B12 powerhouses. Beef liver is the ultimate B12 food. Just 3.5 ounces contains over 70 micrograms. Now, I understand that liver isn't everyone's favorite, but let me share how Frank, a 69-year-old former construction worker, learned to love liver. Frank was severely B12 deficient and needed to boost his levels quickly. I suggested beef liver, and he grimaced. "I haven't eaten liver since I was a kid," he said. So I taught him a simple preparation. Soak thin liver slices in milk for 30 minutes to remove any strong taste, then sauté them quickly with onions and a little salt and pepper. Don't overcook them, or they'll become tough. Frank tried it and was surprised. "It's actually not bad," he admitted. "Kind of like a really rich steak." He started eating liver once a week, and his B12 levels normalized within 2 months. But even if you can't handle liver, regular beef is still excellent. A 3.5-ounce serving of beef provides about 2.6 micrograms of B12. That's more than your daily requirement. Lamb is another great option, providing similar amounts. For those who prefer poultry, chicken and turkey are good sources too. The darker meat contains more B12 than white meat. A chicken thigh, for example, contains about twice as much B12 as a chicken breast. Now, let's talk about dairy products. These are fantastic sources of B12, and they're easy to incorporate into your daily routine. Milk is an excellent choice. 1 cup of milk provides about 1.2 micrograms of B12. That's half your daily needs right there. Greek yogurt is even better. It's concentrated, so you get more B12 per serving. Plus, it's packed with protein and probiotics. Cheese is another great option. Swiss cheese, in particular, is rich in B12. Just 1 ounce provides about 0.9 micrograms. Let me tell you about Dorothy, a 72-year-old retired teacher. Dorothy was a vegetarian who occasionally ate dairy. She was experiencing mild B12 deficiency symptoms. I suggested she focus on dairy products to boost her B12 intake. She started having Greek yogurt for breakfast. Every day, she added a slice of Swiss cheese to her lunch, and she had a glass of milk with dinner. Within 6 weeks, Dorothy's energy levels improved dramatically. "I feel like I'm 60 again," she told me. Who knew that simple dairy products could make such a difference? And finally, let's not forget about eggs. Eggs are incredible for B12. 2 large eggs provide about 1.6 micrograms. That's 2/3 of your daily needs. Plus, eggs are versatile, affordable, and packed with other nutrients. The key is to eat the whole egg. The B12 is concentrated in the yolk, so don't just eat egg whites if you're trying to boost your B12 levels. Now, here's where things get more complex. Even if you're eating all the right foods, you might still develop B12 deficiency. And this is especially true for seniors. Let me explain why. The process of absorbing B12 is actually quite complicated. It's not like other nutrients that get absorbed easily. B12 requires several steps to be properly absorbed by your body. First, when you eat a B12-rich food, the B12 is bound to proteins. Your stomach acid has to separate the B12 from these proteins. This is step 1, and it's where many seniors start having problems. As we age, our stomach acid production naturally decreases. This condition is called hypochlorhydria. It affects up to 30% of seniors. Less stomach acid means less ability to free up B12 from food. But that's just the beginning. Once the B12 is freed, it needs to bind to a special protein called intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor is produced by cells in your stomach lining. And here's another problem. As we age, these cells can become damaged or stop working properly. This can happen due to autoimmune conditions, chronic inflammation, or just normal wear and tear. Without enough intrinsic factor, even free B12 can't be absorbed properly. This condition is called pernicious anemia, and it affects about 2% of seniors. Let me tell you about Harold, a 76-year-old retired accountant. Harold was eating plenty of B12-rich foods. He had eggs for breakfast, often had salmon for lunch, and enjoyed a glass of milk with dinner. By all accounts, he should have had excellent B12 levels. But Harold was still experiencing severe fatigue and memory problems. When we tested his B12 levels, they were extremely low. Further testing revealed that Harold had pernicious anemia. His stomach wasn't producing enough intrinsic factor. No matter how much B12-rich food he ate, his body couldn't absorb it properly. Harold's case required medical intervention. But once we addressed his absorption issues, his improvement was remarkable. Now, there are other factors that can interfere with B12 absorption too. Medications are a big one. Metformin, a common diabetes medication, can interfere with B12 absorption. If you're taking metformin, you need to be extra vigilant about your B12 status. Acid-reducing medications are another culprit. Proton pump inhibitors like omeprazole and H2 blockers like ranitidine reduce stomach acid. Remember, you need stomach acid to free up B12 from food. Alcohol is another factor that can interfere with B12 absorption. Chronic alcohol use damages the stomach lining and interferes with the production of intrinsic factor. If you drink alcohol regularly, especially more than 1 or 2 drinks per day, you're at higher risk. Digestive conditions can also cause problems. Crohn's disease, celiac disease, and other inflammatory bowel conditions can damage the parts of the intestine responsible for B12 absorption. Let me tell you about the symptoms of B12 deficiency. And I want you to pay close attention here, because these symptoms are often dismissed as normal aging. But they're not normal, and they don't have to be accepted. Let's start with fatigue. This isn't just feeling tired after a busy day. This is a bone-deep exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest. It's the kind of fatigue that makes simple tasks feel overwhelming. Next, let's talk about cognitive symptoms. These can be subtle at first. Maybe you forget words more often, or you walk into a room and can't remember why you went there. You might have trouble concentrating on tasks that used to be easy, or you might find yourself becoming more irritable or impatient than usual. Now, let's discuss the neurological symptoms. These can be particularly concerning because they affect your physical abilities. Tingling or numbness in your hands and feet is common. This is called peripheral neuropathy. It happens because B12 is essential for maintaining the protective coating around your nerves. Without adequate B12, this coating starts to break down. Balance problems are another red flag. You might notice you're unsteady on your feet, or you might have a few unexplained falls. This happens because B12 deficiency affects the nerves that help you sense your body's position in space. Muscle weakness is also common. Tasks that used to be easy might become difficult. Opening jars, climbing stairs, or even getting up from a chair might require more effort. Depression, anxiety, or general mood instability can all be related to B12 deficiency. The brain needs B12 to produce neurotransmitters that regulate mood. Without adequate B12, your brain chemistry can become imbalanced. Here's what's really important to understand. These symptoms usually develop gradually. They might start so subtly that you don't even notice them at first. You might just feel off, or not quite like yourself. Family members are often the first to notice changes. They might say things like, "You're not yourself lately," or "You seem different." Don't dismiss these observations. They might be picking up on early signs of B12 deficiency. Now let's talk about getting tested for B12 deficiency. This is crucial information that could literally change your life. The standard test is called a serum B12 test. It measures the amount of B12 in your blood. But here's something most people don't know. The normal range for B12 is quite wide. And what's considered normal might not be optimal for your health. Most labs consider anything above 200 picograms per milliliter to be normal. But many experts believe the optimal range is 400 to 900 picograms per milliliter. This means you could have symptoms of B12 deficiency, even if your levels are technically normal. Now, here's something really important. You don't need to have anemia to have B12 deficiency. Many doctors think that B12 deficiency always causes anemia, but that's not true. You can have significant B12 deficiency with normal blood counts. The neurological symptoms often appear before the anemia develops. So don't let anyone tell you that your B12 is fine just because you don't have anemia. If you're experiencing symptoms that could be related to B12 deficiency, insist on proper testing. Ask for both the serum B12 test and the methylmalonic acid test, and make sure you understand your results. Don't just accept normal as good enough. Ask for the specific numbers. If your B12 is below 400, even if it's technically normal, you might benefit from increasing your B12 intake. Here's how to prepare for your test. You don't need to fast for a B12 test, but you should avoid taking any B12 supplements for at least a week before the test. This will give you a more accurate picture of your actual B12 status. If you're already taking B12 supplements, tell your doctor. They might want to have you stop taking them for a while before testing. Also, make sure to tell your doctor about any medications you're taking, especially metformin, acid reducers, or any other medications that might interfere with B12 absorption. As we wrap up today's video, I want you to remember something important. You don't have to accept fatigue, memory problems, or declining health as inevitable parts of aging. Many of these issues can be prevented or reversed with the right nutritional approach. B12 deficiency is just one example of how powerful nutrition can be. But it's a perfect example because it's so common, so overlooked, and so treatable. If you're experiencing any of the symptoms we discussed today, don't wait. Take action now. Get tested. Implement the nutritional strategies, and give your body what it needs to thrive. Remember Margaret's story. She went from feeling defeated and exhausted to feeling more energetic than she had in years. All because she addressed a simple nutritional deficiency. You can have that same transformation. Before you go, I want you to do 3 things. First, if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. Your likes help me reach more seniors who need this information. Second, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm constantly sharing nutritional strategies that can improve your health and quality of life. Third, share this video with someone who might need it. Do you know a senior who's struggling with fatigue or memory problems? Send them this video. It could literally change their life. And finally, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me. Have you experienced symptoms that might be related to B12 deficiency? Are you going to get tested? What B12-rich foods are you going to start incorporating into your diet? Your comments help build a community of seniors who are taking control of their health. Remember, age is just a number. With the right nutritional knowledge, you can feel energetic, sharp, and vibrant at any age. Until next time, this is Senior Essentials, reminding you that your best years can be ahead of you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.